Hi guys, it's Phoebe from Who's Phoebe and welcome back to another Doctor Who video. Today's video is my review on Village of the Angels. My god. Please make sure you click that big red subscribe button down below and click the notifications bell so you get notifications every single time I upload. I have no words. Now, I've got positives and negatives to say about this episode. So I think this episode is quite a crowd pleaser. People who aren't a massive fan of the Jodie Whittaker era, I think this pleases all of you, including me. It definitely did with me. Now, I want to start with the negatives. There is a spoiler warning again on this video, I'm sorry, but I have to put a few things in the box and a few things out. I have to take a few things out and I have to do this review. Now, the positives are, I loved the Weeping Angels. I've always loved them ever since they came into the episode Blink and then they were adapted with Stephen Moffat in his era of Doctor Who. I think that was amazing. I like the exterminology, the orology of the angels, the whole an image of an angel becomes itself an angel. I'm glad to see Chibnall kept all of that in. But, and this is a very, very big but that ruins the Angels for me. So, years ago, at the end of the David Tennant era, there was a theory of, because obviously you saw the Time Lords having their hands like this, the same way the Weeping Angels do, right? I'm saying this because I'm about to back this up. And it was a theory by a fanboy who wanted this theory to be true, that the Time Lords were once Weeping Angels. And Chibnall's gone and done it. Why? Chibnall has actually made that theory come true, and the ending of the episode, of this particular episode, is what I have a problem with. The Doctor turning into an angel. Really, Chibnall? Why? Why ruin the Angels by actually making that fan theory come true? I love a good fan theory as much as the next person, don't get me wrong, but they're just theories. You don't expect showrunners to develop them. Why? Now, on to the positives. So I'll continue with that point later once I've talked you through the episode. So, I love the idea of the episode. I love the concept of the episode. You have the Angels, you have the TARDIS, you have 1967, you have Claire Brown, which we get a more in-depth thing of. I don't know, I just really particularly enjoyed this episode more than I did last week's. I loved how Chibnall kept a lot of the angel mythology that Stephen Moffat put in, like an image of an angel becomes itself an angel. Like, he didn't add anything new into it, I think, that I like. I say he didn't add anything new, he did, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to that soon. He kept a lot of the laws that Moffat put in, like an image of an angel becomes itself an angel. Like, if an angel is in your mind, it can start turning you into stone, as you saw in Claire's hands. Dust was coming out of her eye and all that, and the Weeping Angels can zap you back in time, except this time we actually saw how they did it, which is fine, absolutely fine. But because of the flux, Yaz and Dan end up in 1961, I think it was, and the Doctor was still in 1967. So yeah, and then a little girl Peggy goes missing, but you see her as she is older and she says it's happening again, which obviously means it's happened before in that time. Obviously space is surrounding them, trying to bell them in, because at each end of the village there's it's open to space, which is annoying. And also in the other part as well there is, and then there's this portal that the Doctor can see Dan and Yaz through with Peggy, and obviously the Professor as well. The Professor meets them there as well. So I do like that concept of space being open because of the flux and stuff. So that's very interesting. The concept I loved. The main part of the episode I loved as well. I will be discussing this more probably with the Gallifrey Multiverse lot tomorrow over video chat, so I'll have a lot more to say about it by then. But oh yeah, please, please, please go and give those guys a subscribe. We do all sorts of different, they do all sorts of different audio stories. I'm playing companion to someone called Eric's Doctor, in a Disney spin-off, in a Disney universe thing. They're not exactly canon and we still stick with them, so yeah, make sure you go and give the Gallifrey Multiverse guys a shout. Tell them I sent you, like give them a wave in the comments or whatever. So yeah, please, please, please go and tell them I sent you. Anyway, back on with the review. Yeah, I liked the idea of the Weeping Angels. I liked their concept. I liked how people were disappearing on the 21st of November 1967. I loved the psychic energy that Claire Brown had. I loved the idea of an angel being in her mind. But this is where the episode starts to fall apart, I think. As much as I love the Weeping Angels and will continue to love them as Doctor Who monsters, the scariest Doctor Who monsters ever, this is where the angels start falling apart from me. There's this one rogue angel and the other angels are like an execution force and they're part of the division, and the angel promises that if the Doctor helps them, then the angel can give the Doctor back her missing memories because it knows, which I think is really good. I liked that idea of the angels being part of the division, because obviously Chibnall's expanding on the Timeless Child stuff. He's got 2 more episodes to do so, to expand all that, so I'm hoping that comes to a conclusion at some point as well. I'm hoping that comes to a conclusion at some point as well, like at the end of the series, that all gets rounded up nicely and stuff like that as well. I liked the fact that the angels were part of the division, although it seems a bit weird, and that was just, for me, part of that episode, the angels being in the division, that was the start of the end of the Weeping Angels for me. That was the end of the Weeping Angels for me, because I know Chibnall had good intentions with this episode, trying to bring them back, but making them part of the Timeless Child story arc worked really well, I think, that personally for me. The only issue I have with them is that whole fan theory of that boy saying that the Time Lords are once Weeping Angels. I think that's where it all falls apart from me, because at the end you have the Doctor and the Weeping Angels talking, and the Weeping Angels want the Doctor, and the Doctor then turns into a Weeping Angel, which ruins the angels for me, because it means that theory has finally come true, that the Time Lords are actually fallen Weeping Angels, which annoys the hell out of me. I'm going to talk more about it now. So the fact that the Doctor becomes one annoys me to pieces, because the episode was great, the concept was great, fantastic episode altogether. But when they decide to put a fan theory into the episode, mix it up a bit, make the actual Time Lords the Weeping Angels, and actually bring that theory come to life, that is annoying. That ruins the Weeping Angels for me. That ruins the entire concept of them at all. That actually ruins it all for me, which I am not happy about. I hate the idea of the Doctor being like this now. I have to wait a whole week to find out whether she comes out of it or whether she stays like that, which annoys the hell out of me. I hate that. I hate the idea of the Time Lords being the Weeping Angels. I mean, the theory was great. The theory behind it was all great. I was happy for that theory just to stay dead and not like emerge at some point in Doctor Who. But trust Chibnall, being a good old fanboy and liking fan theories, that he has to bring the fan theory to true. That's disappointing. I'm sorry, but I'm a YouTube critic. I pick up on these kind of things and I have to speak my mind about it. Now, I haven't been entirely negative about this episode, for good reason, because obviously the episode was good and I think it's a really good crowd pleaser with the Weeping Angels. The Weeping Angels were slightly overused in the Moffat era, but I think now they've had time to rest and they've come up again in this series, I think that fits them perfectly. I think that really goes well. It also concludes on that cliffhanger of the angel and the TARDIS, but it also starts a new cliffhanger as well. I say cliffhanger kind of, but also then you get a surprise ending at the end with Vinda and Belle, which I'm going to add an extra point to because I wasn't expecting that. As the ending titles are going, you suddenly get this surprise ending at the end, and I think that makes the episode really worth watching. This is definitely a watchable episode. If you like the angels like I do, you'll definitely find it a bearable episode. Again, on the whole, Doctor being a Weeping Angel thing, that bothers me a lot. I'm going to say that constantly throughout this video, that it does bother me. I didn't think it was physically possible, but Chibnall has gone and done it and ruined the Weeping Angels, not just for me, but for probably most people who liked the Weeping Angels and just don't like the fact that they've been ruined. I think the problem also lies in the writing as well. I think if Stephen Moffat had written the episode, the episode would have stood out a lot better, and I don't think Moffat would have included that fan theory because it's not the kind of thing he would do. Obviously the Weeping Angels were coming in, Moffat did ruin it for all of us, but yeah, I definitely think that the ending of that, the Doctor being suddenly turning into a Weeping Angel and being one, ruins it so much for me. It bothers me, okay? It bothers me a lot. I've spoken literally 5 minutes about that. That's enough on that. Now, ratings. Now, I didn't expect this episode to rate highly for me because of the ending, but then with the whole Vinder and Bell stuff, I thought that, you know what, this gets a slightly higher rating on the scale, but not by much. I was originally going to give this episode an 8 out of 10 because of the ending, but when I saw that surprise ending, it upped it a bit for me, so this gets a 9.5 out of 10, so half an extra point for that. So in all fairness, last week's episode was a 9 out of 10, so this is 9.5, so it's slightly higher, but it's definitely not an episode that I would want to bear watching again because of the way Chibnall ruined the Angels and portrayed them in a different way. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did, give it a thumbs up, and if you didn't like it, if you didn't like the fact that it was negative or you just don't agree with me, that's absolutely fine. Make sure to click that notifications bell to get notifications every single time I upload, and I'll see you guys soon for another Doctor Who video.